The fluorescent lights of the courtroom corridor hummed, a dry, sterile sound that perfectly matched the cold tension in my chest. I paused just inside the doors. The polished wood of the defendant's table felt alien. Across the room, my son, Michael, and his wife Clara were already seated, their backs straight, their posture radiating smug, quiet victory. Michael caught my eye. He offered a small, vicious smirk. Clara adjusted her immaculate suit jacket, her expression a careful blend of pity and triumph. They were suing me for possession of the family home, a civil claim they had meticulously crafted over 6 months, timed for maximum psychological damage. They were leveraging my age, my recent illness, and their perceived familial right to claim the property I had built, stone by quiet stone. The smirk was the hook. It wasn't just malice, it was certainty. They believed they had already won, that I was a predictable, easily manipulated old woman who would crumble under pressure. I focused on the scar beneath my left eye, a tiny reminder of a past betrayal, and let the coldness settle. The bailiff called the court to order. We all rose. I was not nervous, I was calculated. The conflict wasn't the lawsuit, it was the betrayal of blood. For years I had quietly funded their extravagant lifestyle, the lavish wedding, the down payments, the endless loans. My generosity was seen not as love, but as weakness. The home, which I had offered for them to live in temporarily, had become the ultimate target. Their legal documents were a roadmap of manipulation, detailing how I was incapable of managing the property. I had watched them these past months with a predator's patience. The subtle shift in their tone, the patronizing phone calls, the sudden aggressive interest in my financial affairs. They didn't want the house, they wanted the liquidity, the total, final control over my assets. I didn't hire a lawyer. My defense was built on my own knowledge, decades of quiet, meticulous record-keeping. While they celebrated their legal filing, I was compiling a file of my own. I requested copies of their complete financial history, the tax returns they had filed using the address of my home. The suspense was in the waiting. I observed their confidence bloom, their smiles widen. They had no idea I had already verified their deepest secret. The offshore accounts, the tax evasion scheme they were running through Michael's shell company. Their entire financial life was a meticulously constructed fraud. The judge, a severe woman with silver hair and an expression of profound boredom, looked down at the file. She sighed. She read the plaintiffs' names, Michael Thorne and Clara Thorne. Then she looked up, her gaze sweeping over the courtroom until it landed on me. She frowned, a deep line appearing between her brows. She leaned forward, her voice cutting through the silence. "Wait, she's the one you're suing?" The courtroom went utterly silent. She turned the file to the side, tapping a finger on a document. According to this, the defendant, Eleanor Thorne, is listed as the primary founding partner of the Thorne Group Investments. The firm, which I note, has managed the personal portfolios for the entire state judiciary for the past 10 years. And which, incidentally, the court appointed yesterday as the fiduciary manager overseeing the liquidation of your own shell company, Mr. Thorne. Michael's face dissolved. Clara's polished composure shattered, replaced by sheer, blinding panic. They hadn't researched me. They only saw a mother. They had no idea I was not just the property owner, I was a power broker in this city, a master of asset management, utterly untouchable. I executed the final move, calm and absolute. I did not speak to the judge. I looked only at Michael and Clara, my eyes empty. I reached into my briefcase and pulled out a manila envelope. I stood and walked slowly toward their table. My footsteps echoed. I placed the envelope in front of Michael. Inside were the printed records of their tax fraud, ready for the federal investigation. "The home is mine," I said, the words delivered with the finality of a prison door slamming shut. "The consequences are yours." I left the courtroom. I felt no triumph, only the cold, necessary release of severing an infection. They thought I was an obstacle to be moved. I was the mountain. They were the dust. I drove away from the courthouse. The betrayal was complete. My control was absolute. They had lost the house, their freedom, and the belief that I was ever weak.